So South Korea has returned almost back to normal. This is because the number of cases are decreasing every day. Today, there are only like 3 new cases, and all of them are not locally transmitted. So that is definitely a very good sign for South Korea, which once a epicenter of the COVID-19 earlier this year. So we're seeing that life in South Korea is almost back to normal. Shopping malls, restaurants, or even sport facilities are almost reopened like 100% now. And in shopping malls, for example, many of the people in South Korea went with revenge shopping here. So it's called bobok sobi, which means revenge shopping. So people are going back to shopping malls and other stores to buy what they've always wanted for like during the lockdown, whether it's like luxury items or even flowers. So many people were heading to shopping malls and these shops during the past weekend, and major shopping malls have use these bargain sales to attract revenge shoppers in South Korea.
Clearly, people cannot wait to spend money.
Exactly. Imagine a feeling of staying at home and not being able to do anything and not being able to go anywhere. So I think that is where the revenge shopping came out in South Korea. So it's the feeling like I want to go shopping so badly, and now that the lockdown is already eased, the first thing they wanted to do is go straight to the shopping malls and get what they've always wanted. So that is what we're seeing. Or even like luxury items like Chanel, people are queuing up just to buy their favorite purse that they've been waiting for during the lockdown. So that's a pretty interesting incident that happened here.
I love that term, revenge shopping. It sounds very, very good. I'm sure that in Thailand, a lot of people are looking for that kind of revenge too. No, but despite the return of some normalcy, Nat, I'm sure that authorities in South Korea are not yet totally discounting the possibility of a second wave of the pandemic, right? So what are they planning for that scenario?
So far, I'm not sure exactly of what they're actually doing, but what they've been doing right now is that they try to ease the lockdown in many places. So what we're seeing is that the schools are almost back to normal, sporting facilities are almost back to normal, and we can also see that South Korea is definitely on alert. So they're still pretty much warning the citizens to still practice the social distancing measures, because there is still a possibility of the resurgence here, like in other countries that already experienced the second wave.
And what about other places, Kun Nat? We see how shoppers back to spend money and have revenge shopping. And what about other places? After easing restriction, what happened?
The situation in South Korea is pretty much the same with shopping malls and restaurants here. So we can see that South Koreans are more flexible with the way they live their lives compared to prior to the pandemic. So we can see that South Koreans are almost back to normal, but they're still a bit scared. So we can see that the South Koreans still go out with face masks and protecting themselves from the virus right here.
Of course, when we talk about South Korea, we must be wondering what happened in North Korea. And from the report, it tends to point out that it's COVID-free. Is it?
Well, despite the number of reports saying that North Korea is COVID-19 free, many of the experts think that it's completely impossible for North Korea to be COVID-19 free, because North Korea borders South Korea, of course, as well as China, which both countries are epicenters of COVID-19 earlier this year. So it's quite impossible. It's impossible to say that North Korea has no infections at all, because of the fact that they're bordering two countries. There's gotta be some people like crossing the border from South Korea to North Korea or China to North Korea, especially the fact that North Korea does trade with China. So there's gotta be some people like crossing the border, but there are a few reports saying that there might be a possibility, it might be possible why North Korea doesn't really have high infections in the country. That is because North Korea took very strict measures even before the outbreak started. For example, they already suspended foreign tourism, they closed down the borders, as well as quarantined the citizens as well as diplomats. So we can say that North Korea has done a lot even before the COVID-19 was spread into many countries. But experts still feel that it's not possible to have zero cases completely in North Korea.
You know, since North Korea is a very closed society, and so any information that comes out of the countries is very hard to verify. It doesn't have independent media organizations, and outsiders are not allowed to go in and to do inspections or to verify whatever the authorities there have to say. So we have to listen to what they claims with a grain of salt, Gunnar.
Everything is like claim from the state media, everything's like a claim from the leader, even the life or death of Kim Jong-un, everything is relied on the state media. But at least there's one news story that we can all be sure about, is that the leader is still alive.